Good morning. And welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of York. My name is Zen Copeland. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm your worship associate for today's service, alongside UUCY member and my husband, Nova Copeland, and our dear Sangha friends from the Water and the Wave Sangha that meets here in our carriage house, Alex and Josh. Our minister, Reverend Kristen Green, is not with us today. Please make sure to note important announcements listed on the back of your order of service. Scan the QR codes with your phone for more events, activities, updates, and information for newcomers. Reverend Green's minister summer leave. She will be away from UUCY from June 24th to July 20th, and she will return to the office on Tuesday, July 21st. Our Foundation, Our Future campaign. UUCY's building systems are over 25 years old and require updating. We invite members and friends to make a contribution to meet the campaign's goal. A gift at any level is welcomed and deeply appreciated. Make your gift today by check payable to UUCY in the memo line, or online at uucy.org/giving. If you have any questions, contact the campaign team at upgradeteam@uucy.org. Join us for March's 45th annual summer picnic on Sunday, July 26th, after the service at their home located at 4899 Pine Drive in Spring Grove, PA. And sign-ups for friendship circles are open. Sign up today to be a part of UUCY's friendship circles. Carol Stowell and Diane Kearney will also be collecting sign-ups in person this Sunday, and you can find more from them. There are no religious education classes today, so after the time for all ages, our children and youth are invited to stay for the entire service. For families with very young children who would like childcare during worship, our nursery is also staffed and available downstairs. We welcome all of you joining us in person or online. If you are joining us for the first time, we invite you to visit our welcome desk to fill out a newcomer card or to send an email to welcome@uucy.org so that we might get to know you better. Whoever you are, whomever you love, we are glad that your faith journey brought you here today. The mission of this congregation is to nurture a loving community, inspire lifelong spiritual and personal growth, and act for a better world.
Good morning, everyone. Many of you know me already, but I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Nova Copeland, and I use he, him pronouns. And most of you know me as a member of the congregation here and probably wish I would talk about literally anything other than meditation and Buddhism. But now you're all stuck in the sanctuary with my friends and I for the next hour. This process has been a lot of fun. Thank you all for being here today. Before we jump in, I wanted to provide a little bit of exposition. Our goal today is to share a little bit about our practice and our teacher and our tradition. And I'm so very excited and honored, honestly, to bring these two communities together in this room today. These are communities that Zen and I hold so dear. And this is just, I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I would also like to take a moment to express my sincere gratitude, as well as gratitude on behalf of the York Water and the Wave Sangha, who meets in the carriage house here. Thank you to UUCY for allowing us to use this space. It is beautiful. We love it just as much as you do. And the Sangha could not exist without UUCY. So in a way, you're all already a part of our Sangha. But today, I would like to officially invite you all to be members of our Sangha. There's no expectation or ask. I'm not going to walk around and hit you with a stick if you don't sit still. I only invite you to try to come back to the breath when you hear the sound of the bell. And now, let us mark this time made sacred by all taking a collective breath. Listen, listen. This wonderful sound brings me back to my true home.
For you, awakened one, since my very first breath. I've trekked to the ends of the earth on countless perilous paths and held in my heart so many tears of stone. I've long felt the mysterious conviction that you are there, though I don't know where, as though you and I have always been one. And then last night, alone on the old path, strewn with autumn leaves, the full moon appeared.
My name is Josh. I'm so grateful to be here with all of you. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a member of the York Water in the Wave Sangha with my fellow Sangha members here and some in the audience. Thank you for having me here today. As Tess Snyder comes forward to light our chalice, the symbol of our living tradition, here in the sanctuary, you are also invited to light a candle or chalice of your own if you are joining us remotely. This morning, I offer this gatha, which we, in the practice, recite first thing in the morning to remind us to start the day with an aspiration to dedicate ourselves to the path of love and understanding. Waking up this morning, I smile. 24 brand new hours are before me. I vow to live fully in each moment and to look at all beings with eyes of compassion. We now invite you to rise in body or spirit to sing our opening song. Happiness is here and now. The lyrics have been provided to you. Lisa and Daniel will lead us, but please join in.
I will add one thing. It says verse 1, verse 2, and then repeat verse 1 and verse 2. In between that first 1 and 2 and the repeated 1 and 2, there will be a small interlude. Don't panic.
All right, at this time, we would invite all those who feel young in body or in spirit to join us on the rug for our time for all ages. Today, we will be enjoying a meditation written by our teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, and adapted for this space and time. For all those sitting here in the sanctuary or joining us via Zoom, you are invited to participate. Welcome, everyone. We'll begin by taking a moment to find a comfortable and stable posture. It can be helpful to sit upright with a nice tall back. Imagine that a string is pulling you upward by the top of your head. You can close your eyes or let your gaze be soft and unfocused. Feel your body resting on your seat, your feet touching the earth. Take a moment to notice your breath. Start by asking yourself, is this one an in-breath or an out-breath? A long breath or a short breath? Feel the air as it comes in your nose, down to your lungs, and back out again. Notice how your body inflates like a balloon when you breathe in and deflates when you breathe out. Feel the rise and fall of your body as it breathes. We'll start our meditation by listening to 3 sounds of the bell. Try to see if you can hear the entire sound each time. Listen as it arises out of silence and fades away again. Now, I would like everyone to imagine themselves as a wildflower in a beautiful meadow. You've only just blossomed, brand new, nestled amongst many other flowers and plants. Feel the sunlight on your petals, the breeze softly rustling your leaves, the gentle buzz of a nearby bee making his way from flower to flower. Breathing in, I feel myself as a flower. Breathing out, I feel fresh and new. Now, imagine yourself as a piece of seaweed deep down in the ocean. Your seaweed body is made of mostly water, and you're surrounded by water. Feel how you sway gently in the currents. All around you, all the other pieces of seaweed sway and dance with you. Breathing in, experiencing myself as a piece of seaweed. Breathing out, I feel fluid and at ease. This time, we're going to be a great old tree. Feel how your branches stretch high up in the sky and your roots reach deep down into the earth. Notice all the birds and squirrels and bugs that have made you their home. Notice how as you breathe in, you pull water and nutrients up from your roots. And as you breathe out, you absorb the energy of the sun with your leaves. Breathing in, I know myself as a great big tree. Breathing out, I feel rooted and connected to all of life. This time, see yourself as a great, tall mountain, your peaks way up in the clouds and covered in snow. Feel ancient, heavy, solid, and resilient to all harm or damage. You have weathered many storms and not lost your shape. Breathing in as the mountain. Breathing out, I feel solid. Now let's explore what it would feel like to be a lake. Imagine it's nighttime and your surface is so still that it reflects perfectly the whole sky. The moon and the stars are clear and bright on your crystalline waters. Breathing in, I feel like a still lake. Breathing out, I reflect the entire cosmos. This time, see if you can imagine yourself as the vast open blue sky. Now imagine that all of the thoughts and feelings that arise are just little puffy white clouds just floating on by. No need to try to control or get rid of those clouds. Just remembering that you are the sky and letting them go on their way. Breathing in, I am the vast blue sky. Breathing out, I feel open and free. Now let's see if we can zoom all the way out. Imagine yourself as the entire cosmos. Endless space that holds all that is. All of the galaxies and stars, every planet, and all the life they contain. Everything is a part of you, and you give space for everything to exist. Your vast emptiness allows all things to be. Breathing in, I am infinite. Breathing out, I hold everything. I would like to thank you all for meditating with me. I invite you all to open your eyes, wiggle your hands and feet to wake them up. And now Lisa and Daniel will sing you all back to your seats.
We come now in that time in our service each week that we call Matters of the Heart. This is a time to share the joys and the sorrows, the small moments of happiness and the deepening concerns that reside within our hearts. Our Dharma teacher, An Hung, would refer to this practice as placing our loved ones, our joys, and our sorrows into the cradle of the Sangha. This way, we may create an environment where these feelings can be held and embraced collectively and not overwhelm us. You may always choose to submit something for Matters of the Heart anytime during the week by visiting uucy.org/moth, or you may fill out a slip on Sunday morning and set it up here on the pulpit before the start of service. We will also read Matters of the Heart submitted in the Zoom chat by those who are joining us online. We light a candle of gratitude on behalf of Anonymous for Tess Schneider for making our bulletin boards engaging and vibrant. Thank you, Tess. We light a candle of appreciation for the many hearts and hands who offer their gifts of service. As we learn their names and faces, may we extend our own gratitude to Lisa for facilitating our hymn singing, Daniel, Robert, David, and Diane for sharing their musical talents, Katie and Buster for greeting us at the door, Sandy for providing beautiful flowers, Lynn and Kathy for serving as ushers today, Connie and Carol for brewing our coffee, Joel, Anne, Doug, and Sarah for keeping us online all over the world. We also take this moment to recognize the countless non-financial contributions that keep our congregation going. Each of us contributes to our congregation just by being here, by bringing your joy and your struggles, your questions, and your faith. May all those whose labor remain unnamed feel held by our expansive gratitude and forgive us for our omissions. May we increase our awareness of all of the invisible ways we share in this sacred work. We will light one final candle this morning for all that remains unspoken within your heart. It may feel too large or too small to share. You may not be ready to hear it read aloud, but please know that our community holds these with you in silence, even if those words never come. We honor all that we carry within us and know that the flame of our faith kindled here resides within us also at all times. So may it ever be. I now invite my dear friend Alex forward to read one of my favorite poems.
Hello, dear friends. My name is Alex. So happy to be here with you all today. I feel very grateful to have this opportunity to of this service and to be with my friends Zen, Nova, and Josh from our Sangha. Today, I offer a poem from our teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, who we call Te. This poem is called Interbeing. The sun has entered me. The sun has entered me together with the cloud and the river. I myself have entered the river, and I have entered the sun with the cloud and the river. There has not been a moment when we do not interpenetrate. But before the sun entered me, the sun was in me, also the cloud and the river. Before I entered the river, I was already in it. There has not been a moment when we have not interbeen. Therefore, you know that as long as you continue to breathe, I continue to be in you. Thank you.
I know that many of you have already heard of Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh, who we affectionately refer to as Thai, which means teacher in Vietnamese. He is the founder of the Plum Village Tradition that my friends and I practice with. He has been quoted and referenced in service many times. In fact, I remember my first service here, I walked into the sanctuary and sat in the back. I was feeling quite nervous, honestly. And then Reverend Kristen quoted Thai during the homily, and I turned to Zen and I was like, hey, that's our guy. And I thought, maybe there is something to this UU business after all. And of course, he has been referenced many times since, but I do wonder how many of you have actually heard his story. He was born in Vietnam and founded Plum Village Monastery in France in 1982. But how did a humble monk from Vietnam end up in France? I am going to give you the now very, very shortened version of his story. After living as a monk in Vietnam for a number of years, Thich traveled to the United States to study at Princeton and went on to teach Buddhism at Columbia University, all while founding the School of Youth and Social Services back home in Vietnam. This was a grassroots relief organization of 10,000 volunteers whose goal was to help those affected by the Vietnam War. But doing this work proved to be both difficult and unsafe at times. And so, as Thich once recalled in one of his many books, Engaged Buddhism was born in such a difficult situation, in which you want to maintain your practice while responding to the suffering. And you learn how to practice mindful breathing while helping care for a child who has been wounded by bullets and bombs. The hardest thing is not to lose hope, not to give in to despair, he said. In a situation of utmost suffering like that, we have to practice in such a way that we preserve our hope and compassion. When a village that his students had been helping was bombed and rebuilt, and bombed and rebuilt, Thich recalled feeling like it did not seem that there was any hope of an end because the war had been dragging on for so long. I had to practice a lot of mindful breathing and coming back to myself, he said. I have to confess, I did not have a lot of hope at this time, but if I'd had no hope, it would have been devastating for those young people. I had to practice deeply and nourish the little hope I had inside so I could be a refuge for them. In 1966, he traveled once more to the US and to Europe to call for an end to hostilities in Vietnam. It was during this trip that he met several politicians and activists, including one, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and convinced him to publicly oppose the Vietnam War. On June 1st, 1966, the day after Dr. King spoke out against the war and called for peace, Thich received word that he was denounced as a traitor in Vietnam. He was refused re-entry to his home country and thus began 39 years of exile. I might also add that the traditional Buddhist factions were none too happy with him for his work and for trying to bring these teachings to the West. Martin Luther King Jr. then went on to nominate Thich for the Nobel Peace Prize in 1967, but ultimately no award was given that year. He continued to travel the world during his exile, spreading the message of peace and brotherhood and lobbying Western leaders to end the Vietnam War. But this time was filled with much more tragedy. Amongst attempts on his own life, Thich received word that his school had been bombed, and then just a few months later, several of his students had been murdered for working with him. But still, he continued to believe in the practice and the teachings. And eventually, in 1975, he settled in France, and in 1982, Plum Village Monastery was established where it still exists today. And that, my dear friends, is the very condensed version of his story. He rebuilt villages, rescued boat people fleeing the continued turmoil after the war, was a prolific teacher, poet, author, and activist, all while facing seemingly insurmountable adversity and violence. His impact is substantial, to say the least. And that's just his story. You should read the lead nun story, who was working with him from the time that he started this school. One of his students, this is a fun fact, is actually the UN ambassador responsible for architecting the Paris Climate Agreement. And even after his passing in 2022, the Plum Village monastics and Thich students focus on driving positive political, social, and ecological change through the lens of his teachings and with the goal of liberating all beings from suffering. And I could have spent the entire hour sharing his story. I encourage you to read it if you're interested. And I wanted to share all of that because his story and legacy and teachings provide me a lot of comfort. When times are so uncertain and our communities are faced with extreme polarization, concerns about climate change, and collective burnout, I wonder, how can we possibly move forward, and how do we begin to fix this? When I'm caught up in my worries about the future, and trust me, there are many, I often think of Thich. How did he keep going? If he was able to continue to believe in love and compassion and these teachings as the way out of our collective suffering, I know that I can too. Thich often said that the next Buddha will be the Sangha rather than an individual. And that has stuck with me as I've engaged in community building and encouraged people to come together and show up fully for themselves and for each other. It brings me great hope to see new communities popping up, existing groups growing, and disparate groups connecting with calls for more compassionate action and mutual aid. Thich taught that we cannot fight the current polycrisis with anger and division. Our work must be fueled by the realization that all of us are bound together, and that in order to heal the suffering of the world, we must first heal the misunderstandings that lead to harm in the first place. This healing starts with us. We must heal ourselves so that we may start to heal the world. Thich challenged the mindset of dualistic thinking, them versus us. He taught that we must realize that we inter-are with our opponents, and that caring for ourselves with spiritual practice is the prerequisite for effective systemic change. Interbeing is the awareness that all people, species, and things are deeply interconnected. He taught that when we understand this, we see that our peace and happiness is inseparable from the peace and happiness of the world. Through the insight of interbeing, we know that how we speak to others, how we care for our environment, and how we show up in our communities ripples outward, for better or for worse. Thich said that activists, do you guys know any activists? I don't. Thich said that activists have to have a spiritual practice in order to help them to suffer less, to nourish happiness, and to handle suffering so that they will be effective in helping the world. With anger and frustration, you cannot do much. Thich taught that if you want peace, you have to be peace, and conversely, acting out of hatred or anger will only breed more conflict. Hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal rule, once said the Buddha. And said another way by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. In one of his many books, Teachings on Love, Thich writes, "When I was a novice, I could not understand why, if the world is filled with suffering, the Buddha has such a beautiful smile. Why isn't he disturbed by all of the suffering? Later, I discovered that the Buddha has enough understanding, calm, and strength. That is why the suffering does not overwhelm him. He is able to smile to suffering because he knows how to take care of it and to help transform it. We need to be aware of the suffering, but retain our clarity, calmness, and strength so that we can help transform the situation. The ocean of tears cannot drown us if karuna or compassion is there. That is why the Buddha smile is possible." Our Sangha is the York water in the wave. This name comes from Thai's teachings on how when a wave thinks it is only a wave, it is terrified of crashing, shrinking, or disappearing. But when a wave realizes that it is actually water, all fear dissolves. It realizes that rising and falling are just things that water naturally does. The wave in this metaphor signifies how we view ourselves as individuals and life's challenges, changes, ups and downs. A lot of us think, I'll be at peace once my stress goes away, or once this problem is solved. But Thich taught that a wave does not need to go searching for water. It is already water. In the same way, we don't have to search outside of ourselves for happiness or wholeness. Thich said, enlightenment is when the wave realizes that it is the ocean. If we can step back from the tumultuous waves, we can learn to rest in the calmness and spaciousness that is the ocean. When we practice mindful breathing, the waves return to the ocean, and we can consciously choose to water the seeds of joy and peace, and to hold difficult emotions like fear and worry and anger with gentle awareness rather than trying to fight them. He often spoke in poetic metaphors. Our mindful breath is the caring hands of the gardener, providing water and sunlight to wholesome seeds like kindness and compassion, which will sprout and flourish, and crowd out the weeds, which represent fear and anger and greed and division. This practice allows us to deeply listen to what is there within us, to see the wholesome and unwholesome seeds, and choose which seeds we tend to. This is an excerpt from vows that I and many others in our tradition have taken. I will practice mindful breathing and walking in order to recognize and to look deeply into my anger. I know that the roots of anger can be found in my wrong perceptions and lack of understanding of the suffering in myself and in the other person. I will practice to nourish my capacity for understanding, love, joy, and inclusiveness, and gradually transform anger, violence, and fear that lie deep in my consciousness. When we deeply listen to our own feelings and what is arising in us, compassion can naturally arise. When we recognize and tend to the suffering within ourselves, it is easier to see the suffering within others and to respond to it with compassion. Our teacher believed that we must learn to deeply listen to ourselves and to others, even those we may disagree with. And this practice is not easy, especially when we recognize the immense harm that people can cause through their actions and words. And you may even be thinking, how can we not be angry at certain politicians? Geez, Nova, have you not seen the news? And this is actually a question that one of the nuns from Plum Village fielded recently. She said that, frankly, trying not to be angry at certain politicians and their actions may be an absurd ask, but we can learn to transform that anger into compassion for those affected by these actions and for those whose minds may still be changed. And from there, allow that compassion to drive our actions and our activism work. And remembering to turn to love and compassion can be made easier by practicing in community. Thich was known as a peace activist, but as Sister True Dedication, a nun at Plum Village, recently shared, his vision was about more than resisting war. It was about resisting everything that is toxic and damaging in society that doesn't allow us to be our full selves, she said. She shared that Thich spoke about Sangha as a community of resistance, where we walk and eat slowly and practice seated meditation rooted in the present moment, where we resist the speed of our demanding society. Thich reminds us that it is okay to take time to care for ourselves. When we care for ourselves, we care for the collective. When we meet in community, we resist the loneliness and fragmentation and individualism that is so prevalent in today's society. Sangha is a place where we can restore our humanity, a place where there is peace and time to be ourselves. Sister True Dedication went on to say, by coming together in peace with values of compassion, inclusion, equality, and inclusiveness, we are embodying a resistance to what can sometimes be systemic suffering. She continues, we inter-are with our society, so by resisting at the level of ourselves and our communities, we are already manifesting something different in the world because of the principle of interbeing. Our peace is peace for society. And I know that some of these concepts permeate deeply into our practices and values as Unitarian Universalists as well. When we come together as a Sangha to practice, and when we gather here in the sanctuary or anywhere on these grounds, We come together not just for ourselves as individuals or even for the group. We come together for all beings, for all of us, so that we may continue beautifully into the future. Thank you all for listening and for being a part of our Sangha today. Perhaps as Robert and David and Diane come forward, we can enjoy 2 sounds of the bell.
It's running through my veins and running through your leaves, in the memory of my skin, in your roots deep down within, in my bones and in your branches, you and me are kin. And I'm another you, you are another me. We breathe in harmony, holy, holy green tree. I am another you, you are another me. We live in harmony, holy, holy green tree. You stand tall and sway, I run wild and free. You teach me how to bend. I show unbounded reverie, where you rest on the highest peaks and the valleys underneath. And in the city streets I roam, I show you everywhere is home. I am another you are another me. We live in harmony, holy, holy green tree. I am another you are another me. We live in harmony, holy, holy. What I breathe in, you breathe out. What I breathe out, you breathe in. And I need you, and you need me, for balance, reciprocity. When they cut you to the core, sweep you from the forest floor, I lay you on my knee and we carve out our melody. These notes, these bones, these branches, these leaves, these hands, these roots, these valleys, these streets. We are one breath, one life, one love, one heart, one reverie, and one song.
Thank you for that beautiful music, everybody. We now invite you into the spirit of generosity, or as we Buddhists like to call it, dana, as we collect our weekly offering. Each month, we commit to share our collection with a community organization that upholds our values. As Unitarian Universalists, we covenant to affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We endeavor to create beloved communities, or sanghas, and to uphold the democratic process. These values cannot live on the pages of our principles alone. They require bold, sustained action in our state capital and within our local communities. That is why UU Justice PA exists. For 15 years, this small but powerful state advocacy network has united people of conscience to speak truth to power in Harrisburg and to ensure love ripples across the Commonwealth. Every step toward justice requires dedicated action. Your generosity funds education to build awareness and action focused on 7 broad social justice initiatives. Grassroots mobilization and partnering with larger organizations that align with our social justice values. Statewide legislative tracking, keeping our 36 supporting congregations informed on critical bills, targeting advocacy alerts, and organizing strategies that connect Pennsylvanians directly to their lawmakers every day. Your donation ensures a persistent, progressive faith voice remains strong in PA policy. The ushers will now collect the offering. If this is your first time visiting us, please feel free to let the basket pass you by. Your presence is a gift. Thank you for that beautiful music, Daniel. Please join us in extinguishing our chalice and your home chalices if you have lit them, with the words printed in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Thank you all once again for being here. I have so much gratitude for you all and for this opportunity. And thank you to my Sangha siblings for being here in support and participating. And thank you to everyone whose hard work came together to make this service happen. If anyone is interested, we meet at 6 o'clock on Sunday nights over in the carriage house. I'm just saying. Before we close, I would like to share these words from Thai. If we look at the river, we see that it is not a collection of separate drops of water. The drops have integrated themselves into a river. This river is a community of water. When we practice together as a Sangha, we become like a river. We allow ourselves to be embraced by the Sangha, and we flow together towards the ocean of liberation. As we leave the sanctuary today, my friends, let us not walk as solitary drops of water. Let us go as a river. And with that, we have one final song for you.
Just go as a river. I want to go as a river, not as a drop of water. Learn to live mindfully and be there for each other. I want to go as a river, not as a drop of water. Learn to live mindfully in peace, love and harmony. Friends in streams of spirituality. How wonderful to be able to see that we are all water, that we are all water, that we are all water, that we are all water. I want to go as a river, not as a drop of water. Learn to live mindfully and be there for each other. I want to go as a river, not as a drop of water. Learn to live mindfully in peace, love and harmony. My friends in streams of spirituality. How wonderful to be able to see that we are all water, that we are all water, that we are all water, that we are all water.